John McCain was at a town hall event yesterday, and he was hammered by his constituents over his support of military intervention in Syria. Let's listen.
Yes, ma'am. You are very eager.
Hi, Senator McCain. My name is Jumana, and I met you years ago, and I've always been a loyal supporter of you. I've always been a loyal supporter of you since the Keating Five. I go that back. Anyway, the point is right now, no one's denying there's a lot of atrocities being committed in Syria, whether on the rebel side or whether on the other side as well. The point is there is a good option to what could happen in Syria. For me to listen to you saying there is no good option, I refuse to believe that. The good option right now is to take Saudi Arabia and Iran and force them to stop supporting the two sides in Syria. And you could do it. You can do it by diplomacy and negotiation, not bombs, Senator McCain. We cannot afford to shed more Syrian blood. Personally speaking, I have a cousin who is 18 years old, just was killed 10 days ago by the so-called rebels and Al-Qaeda, and they're not Syrian. They're coming to Syria from all over the world to fight this. We cannot afford to do that. We cannot afford to turn Syria into another Iraq or Afghanistan. I beg you. My family is there. There's so many good Syrians. The majority of the Syrian people want to save their country. And you need to also listen to the majority of the American people who do not want you to go there. This is not an issue that we could take so lightly, Senator McCain. Enough is enough. We do not want another engagement in the Middle East. We don't want Al-Qaeda to take over. Whether you like Bashar al-Assad or not, I am not a fan either. But at least he has a secular government going on over there. It is secular, Senator McCain. We are a minority over there. We are the minority Christians who are, unfortunately, by you and so many in the Senate, are just considering us as collateral damages. And I refuse to believe that. I refuse that because I could trace my family's name to the Bible. We were there from the beginning of humanity, we were there. And we refuse to be forced to leave and flee and be considered a collateral damage.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your passionate plea. Thank you for your very compelling and emotional statement. And all I can tell you is that I, too, have been to Syria. I, too, know the people who are fighting there. I've met them. I know them. And I know who they are. And I know Syria well enough to know that it is a moderate nation. It is not a nation that will embrace these foreign fighters. But to say that Bashar Assad is anything but a merciless butcher, then we have a strong disagreement.
Wow. She did a fantastic job there. And I know I have officially become the world's worst broken record on the issue of Syria. I've made the same points over and over and over. But for the last time, and by the way, I totally don't mean that. I'm probably going to make these same points another 100, 200 times. The top 3 reasons why intervention in Syria is idiotic. 1, both sides used chemical weapons. That's not me speaking, that's the United Nations speaking. Yes, there is a plethora of evidence that the Assad regime used chemical weapons, even though some people say, hey, you know what, he was winning the war, why would he do that? Does he want international attention on him? Does he want the United States and other governments to crack down? It would be dumb, right? But there is evidence Assad used it. There is also evidence that the rebels used it. The second reason, Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra make up at least 50% of the rebels. Now, I've been using the number 50%, but the other night on Lawrence O'Donnell's show, there was somebody who was on the ground in Syria who said actually the number of Muslim extremists that make up the rebels is closer to about 75%. That seems to be a very important fact. Maybe if we were to get involved in Syria, we should attack both the rebels and the Assad regime, Because it's Al-Qaeda on the rebel side, and they used chemical weapons also. But of course, that's not even a consideration. They're not talking about that. And probably the most important piece of information on the Syria issue, only 9% of the American people are in favor of the United States getting involved in a war with Syria. 9%! Now, maybe I'm naive, and maybe I'm old school, but I'm of the belief system, and actually our founding documents and our Constitution is of the belief system, that unless you're dealing with a constitutional issue where the will of the majority is irrelevant, you're not supposed to care about the will of the majority if it's a constitutional issue, those things are off the table, right? But everything else in a democratic republic and a representative democracy, you are supposed to legislate the will of the people. So on the Syria issue, you're supposed to legislate the will of the people. The people say don't do anything.